Hello everyone, today I'm going to be building and reviewing this medieval barn set, which is packed with details and would be a great addition to anyone's collection, so let's get into the speed build. Alright, there it is guys. The build process was decent. The one thing to note is that the instructions cram lots of steps into one big step, so it could be a little time consuming trying to figure out what piece goes where. But the finished product looks great. The building is hinged down the middle, so it can open up to reveal the interior or have it look like there are two buildings entirely. And I'll show you guys that once we get into the interior. But let's start here from the front side, and the barn is 2 stories high. So here's a minifig just for scale. We have double doors on the front, which both look and work pretty well. And on the left side, we have what looks to be a brick-built radish or turnip. And on the right side, we have this red flag. But above the double doors, you'll notice that there's a barrel sort of hanging from the roof. And if you look above that, there is one of those metal roosters that you see on top of buildings. It's actually called a weather vane, and it's supposed to move with the wind and act as an indicator as to where the wind blows. Now, in the Middle Ages, it was normally put on roofs of big buildings like churches and cathedrals, so it's a little unusual seeing it on a peasant's barn, but it can easily be removed if you'd like. But anyhow, this weather vane is actually tied in with the main feature of the barn, so this weather vane actually works as a winch mechanism to wind the barrel up or down. Pretty cool, so you can transport goods back and forth by having someone on the second floor window and down below. Except technically speaking, the wind would control everything, so you'd have to wait for the wind to move your barrel up and down. Also, you can adjust this section here to bring the barrel further out, so if you'd want to load the barrel onto a cart, for example, you could definitely do that. Moving on to the right side of the barn, we have a spare wheel, a little tree, and a broom attached to the wall. There are also a couple of windows with black bars. There's also some bright green vegetation, which you'll see more of all around the barn. You can also start to see that only this front section of the barn has that rounded thatched roof, and the back section has a slanted wooden roof. At the back of the barn, you can see that there is a back gate with 2 small barn doors which open up. There's enough space for whatever animals you have inside to peer out, which is pretty nice. There are also a couple of lanterns hanging down from the roof, and the roof itself looks a little rough with a couple of leaf pieces for some added detail. Above that, you can sort of see the back facade with a couple of hammers that have been crossed as a sign that this is also the owner's workplace, so maybe they also use this workspace for some repair work, like switching wheels on a cart, which would explain why the side of the barn has a spare wheel. And here's the other side of the barn. Not much going on here, we just have a couple of those same windows, and there's a pitchfork and some loose boards attached to the wall. To access the interior, there are hinges down the middle of the building, so you can basically split these 2 sections, one with the rounded thatched roof and one with the slanted wooden roof. And it still looks just amazing this way. Arguably even better than it does when it's fully enclosed. I mean, you still have that 2-storied barn on the right, and now you have a little shed on the left. Pretty cool. Onto the interior, we'll start from the bigger section here. So behind these double doors, there is a stack of wheat and a barrel with a single carrot in there. We also have a lantern hanging from the ceiling and some tools clipped onto both sides of the walls, including a hammer, shovel, whip, and handcuffs, which I'm sure aren't supposed to actually represent handcuffs, but they are just added there for some detail. On the second floor, we have a crate with some apples, another barrel with a carrot, and a sack, along with a chicken there. Now, the chicken along with the other animals you see are not printed, so that's a little bit of a shame. You can also access the interior by lifting up the thatched roof section, which allows you to actually move things around. And here you can see how the winch mechanism that moves the barrel up and down works there. Looking at the other section, we have the sort of animal grooming area where we have a brush and some scissors clipped to the wall, and a trough with some water. And above that, we have just a little section from the second floor of the barn where we have a rat, well, a blind rat going for a slice of cheese, which is a neat touch, I guess. I also wanted to show you guys how seamless the splitting of the 2 sections is. You can see that this top section fits perfectly under the thatched roof. All in all, this is definitely a cool set. Lots of expanding potential as well. You can totally build a fence around the back gate and have a little place for your animals to roam around during the day and then bring them back into the barn during the nighttime. I'm sure it'll look great next to your other medieval buildings, and this barn can even work as a non-medieval barn as well, just because it seems like it's built with more advanced techniques and high-end material, with the black you see on the barn representing metal, and of course the weather vane. I really like when sets have hinges, which not only allow you to access the interior, but also allow you to display the set in a different way. The Lionide's Castle from LEGO is a great example of this, because some of the hinge techniques used there are just ingenious. I don't know about you guys, but this set really reminds me of the Mill Village Raid set from LEGO, which I really wanted as a kid. I think it's an awesome set, especially that windmill, which looks pretty realistic. This here seems like a scaled down version, but I'd say it definitely has more details packed into it than the one from LEGO. But then again, the Mill Village Raid was released in 2011, so it's understandable that it will lack in detail. Now that I think of it, I'd love to get a set like this from LEGO themselves. I feel like it's been so long since they released these types of sets, so it would be great to see all the potential improvements that they can make. I know they still make big castle-themed sets, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I really just want to see small and play-scale medieval-themed sets similar to this one here. As for right now, this set will be available on my website if you're interested, the link will be down below. But other than that, guys, that's all I've got for today. I really hope you enjoyed this small review, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.